Who are ya? That's the chant that sticks in my mind from my days at Boothby Park Stadium, watching my hometown, Hull City, usually when they were getting beat. These days, who are ya is a question which seems to upset a lot of people. They don't like the idea of identity cards, complaining it's an infringement of their privacy. But we give away so much information at the click of a button, even when we're just accepting the terms and conditions of a new app. Normally, with no idea at all of what we've just signed. And we've obviously got CCTV on practically every corner. I like ID cards. They will help us combat fraud, reduce illegal working, provide vital healthcare information, and check eligibility for services. We've talked about ID cards for years, and it's time to stop beating around the bush and finally introduce them. If you've got nothing to hide, why would you worry about the authorities knowing the answer to the simple question, who are ya? Don't cue yet. Before you start, I like identity cards so much, I've made you all one. So before you respond to my point, please, I would like to give you... I would like to know who you are. So before you respond to my point, ladies and gentlemen, can you identify yourself, please?
I love this.
It's really good.
I'm officer of the Trump resistance. Oh, yes, and proud. And previous address, Councillor State in Walthamstow. Love it.
Thank you. Now, what's your point?
Mine says that I got sacked by Marks and Spencer, which was, of course, was true, but it was a long time ago.
Mine says Liberal snowflake, emergency contact anyone in the cabinet.
I'm president of the Anti-Cycling Federation, and my skills are battling the Liberal elite.
Yeah,
that's Nick Ferrari.
There you go. What's mine say? Ambassador for Hull.
Hey.
I won't even tell you what the small print says.
I love this.
I'm going to keep mine.
I'm keeping mine. Thanks, Michelle. Oh, actually, I'm in favour. I was going to say I'm totally against ID cards, but I like
Mine
this.
isn't even very effective because it says date of birth, don't ask. What's the point of having an identity card that doesn't tell you when you were born?
So, you know, identity fraud, there's an annual cost of fraud in the UK of £193 billion per annum, and about 5.4 billion of that is identity fraud.
But I would argue this. I would argue.
Yes, I did.
I would argue
that includes a lot of corporate fraud, procurement fraud.
Michelle,
granted.
but I would argue actually carrying something like this actually opens you up to more fraud because all your information is quite visible.
The government has to decide what information to put there. So if it just has your name, your age, your address, and an ID number that's peculiar to you, that's all you need.
Yeah, no, but if you have somebody's purse and you've got their credit card and you've got that information, you can run a riot with it.
Couldn't I?
So actually, I think in terms of fraud, this opens us up way more to fraud.
No, I'd have like biometric information on that. Like
and if we're looking at terrorism, you know, France has a non-compulsory ID card system, and you have to have some sort of valid government ID card to show. But that didn't protect them in terms of the Nice attacks, or it hasn't protected them in terrorist attacks.
They did say after the Paris attacks that although it wouldn't stop it, what it did do very quickly within 2 hours, it helped them ID them, and it might stop another one following on.
But it's not preventing it, though, is it?
Do I have to have a code to go with? Do I have to have a password? Because you see, I remember the days when passwords started, and they said never write them down. Well, you can't possibly survive today without writing all your passwords down.
No, but you do like
I could forge this in about. Well, you have forged this in about 10 minutes.
There you go. Yeah. How secure is this, Michelle?
I told you, no one's listening to me. Make it with a biometric content, so you've got some kind of thumbprint or something like that. You know,
if you lose your thumb?
Like, why are you against it? Enlighten me why you wouldn't.
I quite like the biometric ideal, but also if let's say we could chip it, we could be chipped like dogs. Then our cards wouldn't even be lost. But I'm very, very divided on this. At the beginning, I was with Michelle, because I also think that it would be very helpful. It used to be called an entitlement card. The government kicked out the idea of having ID cards. And it's not in the manifesto. We're not going to get them.
Thank goodness.
But it would help in terms of our health services to know who is entitled or not. But part of me is very anxious, and I feel a bit civil liberties about it and surveillance. Would you remember all those films?
It's an infringement of our civil liberties.
Soldiers coming up to you on a train, Carol, and saying papers. You know, it's going to be like that.
But it's not going to something like that. Do you remember, when Nick Clegg in 2010, I remember him talking about sacrificing people's liberty. I don't understand that. Because as Michelle just said, everything about you is out there now.
Then why do you need it?
Most of it put out by yourself.
But if everything is out there,
when it helps
then
with
surely
health,
then that goes against your very argument,
No, it
Carol.
doesn't.
Then we don't need it, then, do we?
Yes, we
It's
do.
about authenticity. I can't say the word. Authentication. It's about authentication. It's simply that. That's all. It's not to get you and it's not to get information about you. There was some argument about that. If you went, people would use it to track your movements from shops to garages to wherever you went to offices. But we do that anyway because there's cameras on every corner.
And you can do that through your credit card.
No, through your phone.
Exactly. GPS in your phone.
It?
Because I believe it is an infringement of your civil liberties. I do not want every piece of information about me available on a card.
Because the government decides what goes on
Yes,
there.
it would be.
Well,
then surely they're going to want information that's not easily accessible elsewhere. And what's the purpose of it?
I mean, you're right. Tesco's have got a bit. Every bank's got a bit. Everyone's got a bit. But no one's got it all
in one
place.
place.
I don't want it, and I certainly don't want it held by a government. You imagine because you imagine in the States today with the Trump government, and you've got one of these. No thanks. Because fundamentally, I don't trust.
What's going to be on there that's going to...
what could happen.
Your medical records, Carol?
But your medical records are leaked all the time. Doctor surgeries leak those all the time.
No, the reason they...
Carol,
it's illegal.
Your rap sheet, your crime record?
Well, I've got one, that's the point.
Well, I know,
I'm not worried.
If you did, it would be on it. And if you wanted
what's the
a
problem?
job...
Because I don't want all this information stored in one particular place for everybody in this country, including me. I'd rather not. I also don't like the picture, by the way. But apart from that, you've got to be able to choose your picture.
He's just told you why. He's told you why.
Because I don't trust who might get into government. As I say, I certainly wouldn't trust the Trump government with it.
But I don't get it. I just think that when you put an app on your phone, you're giving away so much information about yourself and access to yourself to private organisations. So people don't even know. Whoever reads the T's and C's, when it says...
No, but Michelle, with an app on your phone, you are able to determine what information you're actually putting in there. That is your choice. No. Yes, it is. When you're filling out, you can opt out and opt in on many options on apps on your phones. With this, you have no option to opt out. But whatever they want on this card is put on that card without your choice.
You lot are in the minority, by the way, because I took a poll.
10 years old.
No, my poll was like a week or so old. Thank you very much. I did one of my loyal Twitter followers, and look at the results. My Twitter followers are awesome.
Yeah, but they're all from Hull, aren't they?
Yes. 78% of them
I don't mind Hull having
70.
Well, Michelle, with the amount of abuse I get from your Twitter followers, I'm not listening to that.
I don't get it. If you've got nothing to hide, it'll help speed up our access to services. It'll track down people that have been doing bad things quicker. I don't get why you'd be against.
It's sort of un-English, and don't you feel even when you're sitting in your own seat on the train that you've booked and paid for, you're carrying your ticket, you always feel slightly uncomfortable and nervous. It's going to feel like that the whole time.
I always sit in someone else's seat. always.
Jeremy called it a citizen's card, which is a bit more friendlier, isn't it?
That's good.
Okay, all right.